Hey there, this is Jexy with the Systems Alliance, and in this video we're going to go over the very turbulent recent history of MoviePass, at least since my last video when it was already pretty bad, and what their new plan is to survive into the future with the changes that they've made to their subscription service. So I made a video a few weeks ago regarding MoviePass and what was going on and how the parent company of MoviePass, Helios and Matheson Analytics, had to take out a loan for $6 million, $5 million of it just to pay off debt so they could stay afloat, and people weren't getting into the movies, and supposedly that was supposed to last one day, but by the time my video actually came out, it had been the entire weekend that people weren't able to see the movies that they wanted to see, and things were just a complete mess. I wanted to do a bunch of follow-up videos, but literally the news kept changing every single day that by the time I got home to be able to think about the next video I was going to make to talk about MoviePass, they'd already done something different. They had something that either happened in the news with them or they had changed the plan that they were going to do. So me being busy, I never got around to it, but now they seem to have it under control. They seem to have calmed down at least for a couple days as far as the plan that they're going to have moving forward. So MoviePass's parent company, Helios and Matheson Analytics, that stock fell 97%. So it was a penny stock to begin with, but to fall 97% is pretty insane. And it fell 97% after the news came out that they were going to start limiting people, charging more money, limiting people to the movies they saw, and also limiting the types of movies. And when they were released and having surge pricing and everything like that, everything was just a mess. Stock went up a bit, but then absolutely tanked down to a low of 5 cents. And it ended up closing that day at 7 cents. So, hey, if you want some MoviePass stock, that was pretty much your time to buy because it was pretty much absolutely worthless at that point. To that point, if you do, for some reason, believe in the CEO, Mitch Lowe, who, like I said, did have a big part in Netflix, did have a big part in Redbox. He pretty much moved both of them to the point that where they are now. So the guy has some business acumen. He didn't ever graduate high school, but he's still been pretty successful. But every successful businessman always has failures, and people were looking at MoviePass as that failure. But according to Mitch Lowe, he doesn't plan on shutting down MoviePass at any point in time and wanted to keep moving forward. And at one point, people were like, hey, Elon Musk, if you want people to really like you and to really support your company, just go ahead and fund MoviePass and people will absolutely love you. And Elon Musk actually responded to that and said, I don't think there's any way I could fix MoviePass. The business model is so broken. Even me, Elon Musk, creator of Tesla and Solar City and trying to get into space and all that stuff, even he said he couldn't fix MoviePass. And to be sure, a lot of things did have to change if that was to stay around. If MoviePass and its business model were going to stay around, well, one, they couldn't have the same business model. That had to change. So things that they have done over the past couple weeks. First, as everyone knows, is about $10 for MoviePass, $9.95, whatever. They were going to change that to $15, $14.95 for the same amount. Now, most people wouldn't have minded that. Personally, I said, hey, even if MoviePass was $20, it'd probably be worth it for the month. And at this point, you could still see one movie a day. So conceivably, if you could somehow find theaters that play 30 movies in a month or, whatever it was, you could get away with kind of a lot, which is, of course, the whole reason why MoviePass is losing money in the first place. But then MoviePass said movies in their first runs playing in more than 1,000 theaters, which is pretty much any wide release, would not be available to MoviePass subscribers within the first 2 weeks. So, in other words, if you got MoviePass because you were doing something like me, you were making movie reviews, or you were just trying to talk about it in general, or you just were normal and wanted to see a movie within the first 2 weeks, as most people tend to do, you were out of luck, because MoviePass was not going to help you out with that anymore. That pissed off a lot of people, and people started leaving MoviePass in droves. And once Wall Street caught wind of this, that's when their stock dropped even further. So in addition to not being able to see the movies you wanted to, if you could, they also had their surge pricing, which made it so that in many cases you were actually paying more for MoviePass plus the movie than if you didn't have either, if you just went and wanted to watch the movie. So not only was that bad, but then you had people taking pictures of them in empty movie theaters for movies that weren't bringing in a ton of money, but still fell within, whatever their popular movie first run category is. And it'd be like one or two people in the whole theater, and they were charging surge pricing for that. Or they weren't letting you see it at all, which that doesn't even make sense at that point, why they would do that. There's very few movies where you're not going to be able to get a ticket in any theater within the first week. I know everyone always talks about the big ones, like a DC or Marvel movie or Star Wars, but those are really actually kind of rare. That's not what is normally going on. Especially once that second week rolls around, there's no reason to have any surge pricing or anything like that. So then people are still very upset because why pay any money if you can't go see the movies when you want to? So then it said, okay, we're getting rid of surge price. And that was the first thing they said. You know what? No one seems to like that. It's not really working out. Let's get rid of that. And then the other thing people didn't like was movies that they wanted to see immediately in their first run. They said, you know what? That's not working for us too. We're just losing thousands and thousands of subscribers. Let's get rid of that too. Okay, so now they're still at $15 a month. But with all the money that they're losing, they still didn't think that that was a stable plan for them. So then they made another change. They said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to change it from one movie a day, so basically unlimited movies, and we're going to change that to 3 movies a month. We're going to get rid of the surge pricing. We're getting rid of the other limitations, but only 3 movies a month. Now they're saying that's only going to affect 85% of the people that have a MoviePass. That's great, but 3 movies a month for someone who really wants to see movies, that's a pretty low bar. And then they said, well, if you want to see more with MoviePass, it could be, a $2 up to like a $5 discount, depending on it. And to me at that point, great, it's a discount, but so what? Well, then they said, okay, then we're going to drop it from $15 back down to $10 like it was originally. So you can imagine any type of business doing this. This would be insane. This is an insane amount of movement. Normally these things are thought of very carefully and they know what the outcomes are going to be in the market. With MoviePass, they were making changes literally every other day to their plan. So now it was $10, then it was $15, now it's back down to $10 a month. The surcharges and the limitations on movies are gone, but the number of times you can see a movie, that's gone from basically once a day down to 3 times a month. Throughout all of this, the other thing that MoviePass was doing was they were saying if you canceled your subscription to MoviePass, which was a thing that a lot of people were doing and a lot of people are still doing, considering the service has no idea what they're doing. There's no confidence in this company at this point, right? Why would you want to give your money to them? Who knows? You might never get it back. So you can understand people leaving. They said, well, if you leave, you can't come back for 9 months. Not the best way to do business if you are the problem. And it's not your customers that are the problem. You're the problem. You can't make up your mind. You can't put out a simple business case or a simple business plan that doesn't change within the next 24 or 48 hours. And that's what you're trying to shove down people's throats. And in the meantime saying, well, if you leave, you can't come back for 9 months. Well, a lot of people left anyway, for good reason, because AMC, as the most popular alternative, came out with their own version of MoviePass for specifically their theaters, and it seems to be a much more sustainable business model, and in some cases, a better deal for customers. Not only can you book at home and reserve your seat, and you have no limitations really at all. I think it's like, it's multiple movies per week. Like, I think it's like 3 a week or something like that, which most people aren't seeing. You can even use it on the same day if you want to. So if you have a movie day, you can just do that. I think it's like $20 a month, but like I said, much more sustainable, and you're not limited to non-IMAX or non-3D or anything like that. So a lot of people are leaving MoviePass, but then people were getting upset that they were like, oh, well, now you're changing it back. Well, I wouldn't have canceled if you had told me this in the first place. I want my MoviePass back. And so MoviePass said, okay, we're reversing that. If you leave, you can come back right away. But in doing so, they uncanceled everyone's subscription that did cancel, and then it started charging their credit card again. So once again, they can't seem to get things right. So if you canceled MoviePass during this period of the past few weeks, whether or not you said, you know what, I'm going to join back up because they've changed their business plan, it's a different product I am buying now, or if you said, no, I don't want to cancel at all, it didn't matter because they started charging a credit card again anyway. So obviously just a complete mess by them at this point. And because their plan was so poor to begin with and the system was kind of flawed, they were having you take pictures of your ticket stub and everything like that, and that was pretty annoying because if you didn't send in the picture of your ticket stub, in other words, you got to take it right then because you're probably going to throw the thing out and you're going to be screwed later on. You take a picture of your ticket stub, and if you don't, you won't be able to see any more movies. So they got rid of that too. So they kept putting in all these additional features that weren't good, taking them out. They could not get their business model straight. Me personally, I actually still have my MoviePass. I'm definitely considering going over to AMC, especially since I do like seeing movies in IMAX. I think 3D is pretty crappy. It distorts the picture from what the artist originally intended, but IMAX is pretty cool with no limitations. With being able to see more movies than 3 a month, it costs a little bit more, but there is an AMC right next to me. However, if I wasn't around an AMC, it would kind of make me not want to go to the movies, knowing that I'm already paying $20 a month for AMC. So there is that. Also, I live in Arizona, so the same thing was kind of already going on with MoviePass, because if it's not an AMC here, it's most likely a Harkins, and Harkins never signed onto the original MoviePass deal, so you still could never use MoviePass at any Harkins theaters, whereas you could with AMC and any others. So that's more of a local issue, and I'm sure there's similar local issues around the country. And I'll probably make this a separate video, but in addition to AMC's pass, there are other MoviePass-like companies out there offering different deals. So let me know what your thoughts are. Do you still have MoviePass like me? Are you thinking about getting rid of it like me? Did you already get rid of it? And if so, did you switch over to AMC or another subscription service in order to save money for going to see the movies? I know a lot of people also like the AMC one because it gives you discounts on food, but still markup on that anyway. What do you think of MoviePass's new plan versus their old plan? I feel like the new plan is more sustainable, but it's definitely not nearly as good of a deal. To me, 3 movies a month is pretty limiting, so I'm not sure that's something I would want to see it go to, but like they said, 85% of the people see 3 movies or less a month who have MoviePass. Of course, the problem is, for the ones who are really using it, those people are probably seeing movies a lot more than that a month, causing them to lose the money that they were losing. Another question is, do you think MoviePass will survive? And if so, for how long? Do you think this new business model they have set up is sustainable, or is it not? At least with the AMC Pass, they're giving you a discount on some food, so when you go in, it makes you more likely to give them more of that profit margin for things like that. Whereas MoviePass isn't getting anything out of it. They tried to push around AMC and the other theater chains, saying, look at everything that MoviePass is bringing in, look at all the revenue they're bringing in, more likely to buy food and all this stuff, which was true, but they didn't give in. Probably because they were like, that is a good deal. Why don't we come up with one on our own that doesn't involve us losing millions of dollars? So let me know your thoughts on MoviePass's new plan. Let me know what your plans are for going to the movies. Be sure to subscribe and like this video. Post your comments in the comment section below, and we'll catch you later.